spooky Halloween series. Hi, this is Urban Homesteader Cooking for the Week. I'm your host, Tammy Wolf, and today we're going to be looking at a whole bunch of really fun pumpkin and cinnamon and clove, oh my, things that we're going to make for Halloween. So, stay with me. We're going to be doing some cooking for the week, pumpkin themed. Hey, to start out, like always, I've already made our popcorn. I've already boiled eggs. Remember, those are sort of some of our staples for the week. My kids love to have popcorn, and we all love to have hard-boiled eggs for different snacks. So the popcorn is done. This time I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make some caramel, and I'm going to go ahead and put half of it and make it caramel popcorn because my daughter said she wanted to try that, and then the other half is going to be just salt with a little nutritional yeast. I got these fun caramel bits. Ooh. I got the caramel bits because I sure do like just plain old caramels, and but I don't really enjoy unwrapping each one. Sorry, a little lazy. So anyway, so I got these that have the exact same ingredients, and they are just these little nubs. They kind of look like chickpeas. And I don't have to unwrap them. So I'm gonna go ahead and melt these down. I'm gonna make my caramel popcorn. I'm gonna melt more because one of our featured things today is I'm gonna teach you how to make caramel apple slices. I'm super excited about this. All you need are Granny Smith apples, melted caramel, and unsweetened organic coconut. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make some slices, and I'm gonna show you what I'm doing with them. And I hope that they're going to be really exciting. I've tried to make caramel apple slices before, and it's never really worked. So anyway, I think today is going to work. Right now I've got my oven preheating. It just went off to 350 because I'm going to be making some cookies as well. So stay tuned. I'm going to get these caramels all melted and ready to go. And then when I come back, you're going to see what I'm doing with the caramel apple slices. Hey, I'm back. My caramel bits have totally melted and they look really good. And I've cored out all of my Granny Smiths. So I've cut them in half and I've cored them out. And I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit into the center of each one. Now the idea is that once this cools, you go ahead and slice them into even smaller slices. So now they're halved, and I'm going to quarter them and see what that looks like. And they're pretty small, so I think that I'm going to quarter them again and have these teeny tiny little slices that has all this caramel. So I'm going to finish doing this, pop these in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes, and I'm going to take them out and see if they're fully cooled. Otherwise, I'm sure this would just goop all over the place. I saw this on some random Facebook video, and it looks really fun. Then what I'm going to do is, before I pop them in, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle my organic unsweetened coconut over them. And then right here, I've got my popcorn. And if you've never made caramel popcorn before, it's pretty easy. You just melt the caramels and you put the popcorn laid out like this on some wax paper, and you spread your caramel all over it. I think I need to heat this up again. And then I'm going to let this cool, and I'm going to kind of mix it around, and it'll be my caramel popcorn. So here we go with this. When we get closer to Christmas time, I am going to show you, my husband and I were in the Peace Corps for a little while, and for 2 years, and one of our friends who was there, who had actually moved there and lived there, his mom back in the States, made homemade caramels all the time, and I had the opportunity to meet her, and so I have a homemade caramel recipe, which is really fun, and it's really cool to make them for people with like a plate of cookies and then homemade caramels and bring them to people's houses. So I will be showing you that at Christmas time too. anyway, for right now, this is where we are. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put these in the fridge. And then when we come back, we're going to make Southern style pumpkin cookies. So I'm going to melt some more of these and we'll be right back. Okay, what's coming up now is Southern style pumpkin cookies. So a friend of mine who also happens to be like this amazing staff developer of the universe, who is teaching abroad in Poland right now. Elizabeth, this is for you. She got this recipe from a friend of hers who comes from the South, and his mom gave it to her so she could make his favorite cookies for him. So they're Southern style pumpkin cookies. And there's a couple of things. I'm going to put the recipe out there. So just click on the link below that says recipes. And there's a few things that I'm doing differently in the recipe. First of all, it asks for regular flour. I'm putting in gluten-free flour. Next, it says a half a cup of oil. I'm going to be putting in a half a cup of applesauce, substituting for the oil. You can do that almost in any baking recipe, by the way. Also, it is saying chocolate chips, but I'm going to put in these little caramel bits because I thought that would make these really fun. And it says to put in 1 teaspoon of milk. I'm looking at my little recipe card right here. 1 teaspoon of milk, and I'm substituting almond milk for cow's milk. So I have everything right here in this bowl, and I'm going to get it going with my KitchenAid, stirring. You can just mix everything together. There's no fancy sifting or anything. Mix it all together, and then I'm going to go ahead and bake it for 350 for about 18 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check them at 10 minutes, see if my knife or toothpick comes out clear. So, and then I'm going to keep checking it every 2 minutes after that. So I'm going to start with 10, might make it to 18. We'll see. Okay. So anyway, I have all my ingredients in here, little cinnamon, an egg, some baking powder, baking soda, flour, sugar, and then the pumpkin puree, and we'll see how these turn out. I've had them before with her, and I've made them myself, and they're awesome. I've never done it with caramel bits, so I'm excited to see how those melt and make those cookies really unique. So we're going to see how that goes, and I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay, I've got the cookies made, and they're right here. If you're expecting some really pretty, perfect chocolate chip cookies that are like perfectly round and whatever, you're going to need to get those expectations out of your head. These are kind of like blobs, and I love them though. So we're just going to not judge these by the way that they look, especially if we have other expectations. They are so good. They are soft and they are gooey, and especially the applesauce in the middle makes them just these incredibly moist cookies. And so anyway, I already have a batch in the oven. They don't expand very much, so even though they're a little bit watery, kind of like a blob, they're not going to expand. So I'm just going to kind of put them close together. And remember, I'm putting them in for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and check them every 2 minutes. So I already have a batch in right now, and I'm going to put this one in right after. Okay, thank you. The next thing that I'm going to go ahead and make is I'm going to be making some protein energy balls for the morning. These are non-bake. I've got Bob's Red Mill oats in here. I'm going to double this recipe than what's on the recipe when you click on the link below. So I've got double everything. Double the oats. It calls for 3 overly ripe bananas. And so I'm actually only going to use 2 instead of 3. And the reason for that is because I want to make these I want these to be pumpkin. So I am going to substitute some pumpkin for my 3rd banana. So since I'm doubling, I'm going to be putting in these 4 super overripe bananas. And then I'm going to be substituting for 2 of them a half a cup of pumpkin, because I think that I'm guesstimating, but that's the equivalent. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. It needs also peanut butter and a little cinnamon and some honey. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to add to it some chopped walnuts, and that's it. I'm going to mix it all together, and I'm going to go ahead and arrange them and go ahead and cool them, and then they're going to be energy protein balls to have as a quick snack or a couple of them for supplement to breakfast. So I'm going to go ahead and make these, and I'll be right back. Okay, both of my batches of cookies are almost done. This one's got about 40 seconds left. Right now, I am making my morning energy pumpkin balls. And I think that what I am going to do actually is I'm going to cook these for just a little bit. So I'm going to put them on parchment, and I'm going to cook them at 350 for, I don't know, I'm going to check them in about 10 minutes. I just think that that's going to make for a better texture instead of having them be raw and not cooked. The other thing that I have going on right now is I started chicken soup, homemade chicken soup. And what I have, and I have the recipe in the link, is I've got 2 full containers of Pacific chicken stock, a whole chicken that has the giblets removed, and it's just in there, and it's going to cook. Hold on just a second. And I have it cooking in my crock pot, and I actually started it yesterday, so it cooked on high with 4 more cups of water for all night. I took the chicken out, I picked off all the meat, put it back in. Now I have added 2 cups of wild rice. I've added some green beans that I have from my garden. I have added some garlic, about 6 cloves crushed, salt, and pepper. I'm going to let that cook. I put in 4 more cups of water because the water boiled down just a little bit. I'm going to let that cook for a while today. We're going to have it for dinner tonight, and then I'm going to put it in jars so that we can bring it to lunch tomorrow. So that's happening right now in my crock pot, just so that you know the time efficiency thing that's going on here. So as you can see, I've got these energy balls started here. As soon as I pull out those cookies, I'm going to put these in on the parchment paper. These won't expand at all, so I'm just going to leave them just like this, really close together. And then I'm going to come on back and I'm going to tell you what we're doing next. We're going to get some things prepped for my kids. I almost said students. For my kids' lunches. So welcome to lunchtime as soon as we're done doing these last few breakfast items. Something that has started to quickly become one of my favorite things to prepare for lunches is tortilla wraps. And I'm going to do a couple of different ones today. I'm going to do some that are just Nutella because that's fun. I'm going to do a few that are cream cheese and sliced deli meat because that's also fun. And then I'm going to do a few more that are going to be half peanut butter. I'm going to actually use almond butter and half jelly. The reason I do half and half is because when I roll it, then it doesn't get weird and soggy. I don't know. I've done them both before together, and it just seems to get it weird. Anyway, no, just my own preference of not weird. So I'm going to go ahead and make some of those. I'm going to roll them up. I'm going to reuse my Mission Tortilla bag and put them back in here. And I'm actually not going to label which one's which. My family likes all 3. So then that way when they grab one and put it in their lunchbox, they always wrap it in a little tin foil. When they grab it and put it in their lunchbox, then by the time lunch time comes, it's thawed and they eat it and they get to see which one they got that day. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on these right now. Okay, welcome. Here is what we're going to do. I'm looking up this recipe right now so I can do it right. I'm going to show you how to make a MIM, a muffin in a minute. It is so awesome. It's one of the recipes that's on the attachment. And I'm going to show you how to make one of them. If you want to like triple or quadruple this recipe and put them in muffin tins, you can for later. But if you have enough time to make muffin in a minute in the mornings, I love them. They're totally gluten-free and also sugar-free. So I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of flax meal. I'm going to go ahead and get a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. I'm going to put that in there. Putting all this into a coffee mug. I'm going to go ahead and crack open 1 egg into this. And then I am going to get another 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm going to put that in there. You need to have any oil of choice. I am going to have coconut oil. And then it wants you to go ahead and put a sweetener in. And I am going to put in a little less, I guess it would be 1/8 of a cup of apple cider. So I'm going to put that in as my sweetener. And I need to get my oil. While I'm doing that, I wanted to show you that I finished these caramel apples. And I cut them in half before. And I'm just going to cut them in half again. Here we go. Look how fun these turned out. I'm so excited. So these are caramel apples with the unsweetened coconut flakes on the top. So I'm going to put those back into the fridge for snacks or for dessert for later. I'm going to go ahead and get my oil and put it in here. I'm going to put it in the microwave for 1 minute. And as soon as it comes out, I'm going to show you what it looks like. So hold on. So I put in my teaspoon of oil, coconut oil. I mixed it really well with a fork, the whole muffin in a minute mixture. It's got a couple seconds left. I'm going to pop it out of the microwave. I'm going to show you what it looks like. These are so good. I have had people have cream cheese on it with some fresh raspberries. I love it with almond butter and sliced banana. It's one of my favorite things to have them with. They're really good with butter and nutritional yeast. They're so dense and they're such good muffins and they're just packed with nutrition. And other than the egg, they are fully gluten-free, sugar-free, vegan. So they're gleegan. So here's what I'm going to do. There's a little caramel left over here. I'm just going to scoop out the outside and go whoop. And there's my muffin. So I'm going to cut it in half and show you what it looks like. It's so good. Let this cool just a little bit. I'm going to put my favorite, some almond butter and banana on it, and I'm going to have it for a little snack to reward myself of all the hard work from cooking for the week today. So remember, I am your host, Tammy Wolf, and this is Urban Homesteader Cooking for the Week. Have an awesome and spooky Halloween. Okay, until next time. Thank you for joining me for Cooking with the Week. Here's all the things that we made today. We made our caramel popcorn, and we also have regular popcorn. We made our caramel apple slices. We also made our nutritional peanut butter and oatmeal balls that are protein packed for breakfasts or quick snacks. We've got our Southern style pumpkin cookies. I've got my muffin in a minute. Behind me in the crock pot is homemade chicken soup. And then we've also made a variety of different wraps for lunches. Don't forget, every week I make regular popcorn for my kids for snacks and also a whole bunch of hard-boiled eggs for us. So, until I see you next time, have a great week.